Manever I say ma PENDREAM TV. PENDREAM TV there, I see them yopo.
It's all over for Prophet Elbernard after Bawumia win. Now my very good friend Elbernard Nelson Eshan hardly misses any prophecy. From when he's been doing this, from when he founded the Spirit Life International Ministries in 2008, we can't remember when he last missed a prophecy. He's a forensic prophet. Whatever he tells you comes to pass. He is a man everybody believes in when it comes to prophecy. He is the go-to man when it comes to the prophetic. He has raised a number of prophets. He's a very humble man of God. And at the same time, he's a man who believes in his ministry. This is Prophet Elbernard Nelson Eshan. At the age of 15, he was already a converted Muslim. In fact, he was born somewhere in May 1979. And by 15, he was a Muslim. He was Muslim for close to 5 solid years. Oh yes, he was Muslim. And then he converted into Christianity. And he started to run with Christianity. This man here went to the University of Ghana, Legon. He was resident at Ekwafu Hall, where he studied very hard. All he wanted to be was a professor. One day he had a prophecy where a man of God told him that he would be a prophet. He was shocked because in his heart, the man of God saw prof. And instead of taking his time to read it properly and say professor, he said prophet. He believed that he was supposed to be a professor and not a prophet. He graduated with a first class degree. My brother, my sister, at the University of Ghana, Legon. This is the man we are talking about. Prophet Elbernard Nelson Eshan. Oh yes. Somewhere in 1999, he decided to go on a journey, Christian journey, very hot on the hills. And then, when he told himself it was time to embrace the calling of God on his life, he started to prophesy as early as the 2000s. He was forensic with his prophecies. Even in school, people knew that he had the power to prophesy. He was a born prophet. Coming all the way from Amanfo in Takrade, all the way now relocated into Accra, he started to prophesy like crazy. And when he finished school, a few years later, he decided it was time to open up the Spirit Life Ministries in 2008. And he became the CEO, the founder. You can call him the set man or the man of the house. He's gained a lot of respect. In fact, he used to be at the National Theatre where he was prophesying. After some time, he built his own edifice. And there is where he now sits, a huge capacity of faithfuls. And they listen to him almost every day, preach to them about prosperity, about salvation, and much more. He is a man who has built a beautiful dossier for himself. This is Prophet Elbernard Nelson Eshan. He can prophesy to you coming back from the 10th generation up till now, and he never misses. But my brother, my sister, he always ran away from political prophecies. He gave personal prophecies, prophecies about the nation, but most of the time he veered away from political prophecies. But these days, it's become very lucrative to do prophetic politics, or better still, political prophecies. So many prophets only make money when they prophesy politically. Political heads and leaders called them to the bargaining table and buy them off. Bernard Elbernard, for the very first time, prophesied that one man was a dark horse. You know who a dark horse is? Somebody with hidden capabilities. In fact, he asked his church members to root for this person, Kennedy Japan. Not many people ever gave him a chance. But when the very authentically forensic prophet prophesied that Kennedy Japan would become the flag bearer of the NPP at the primaries, many believed in him. Other prophets also prophesied, but every eye was on him because this is the prophet who hardly misses. Bernard Elbernard Nelson Eshen. Oh my God. For me, it's one prophecy that he has made that shook him really much. He wrote a whole book about this. And then, day after day, he kept updating the people, something that he hardly did in the past. It looked like he was under pressure. All the statistics showed that, in fact, his candidate that he prophesied would win would lose. So it became a game or a battle or a race between science and the spirit. At the end of the day, my brother, my sister, with so much energy in church, he prophesied that if we could make a dog fly, that would be the only time Bawumia would be able to become flag bearer again of the NPP in just the elections that came by. Just in case you have forgotten, watch this.
When they rig, because Uyima ontu onya no beyi enyimguase on 31st January 2026. Tell me, my name is Bernard Elbernard. Masha nkomo Masha ewo brofum na matraya Masha ewo fantim. Minim na mewie yi no first time mejina mabo Bawumia ni din. I have always concentrated on what God has revealed to me, Kennedy Japan. Missy, Bawumia cannot become the flag bearer of NPP on the 31st of January 20. The strength of every prophetic word is in the source. The strength is on the 31st of January 2026. Nyame Adoma, 31st December, I'll be here. I'll bring you. Have you seen a wounded lion before? That is how the angel of NPP Nenyuaber. Na obi biara obo try to obo stop the angel of NPP. The angel of NPP on bet no nyangasa kasa. The angel of NPP nangasa bet no nyin pakro no nyina kasa. Inti prophetic announcement. Bawumia campaign waton soon. Kennedy Japan has been crowned as the flag bearer, the presidential candidate of the New Patriotic Party on the 31st of January 2026. Go home and sleep.
Go home and sleep. Bawumia ni campaign wa tonsum. And of course, Kennedy Japan has been crowned. Go home and sleep. That is how powerful the prophet is. Oh yes. And when he speaks with power. Unfortunately, it didn't happen. On the 31st, he again said that by 5 p.m. it would have been clear that Kennedy would be winning. But even before 5 p.m., Kennedy was losing. And then the official results came out. Oh my God. Kennedy had lost. He was number one. He had a total of 3.76%. Bernie Champon, 18.53%. And Bawumia had 56.48%. My brother, my sister, Kennedy Japan lost by a wide margin. And it shocked many of the followers of the mighty prophet, Prophet Elbernard Nelson Ishen. The whole country was quiet. Those who called him fake called him fake. Those who were ready to visit him with harm were also getting ready for Sunday, when they would troop into his church and teach him a little lesson. Why did they ignore all the other prophets who prophesied same? Because this is the man whose prophecies never fail. But just as the elections were about to start, in the run-up to the elections, he had been considered as fake by opponents of his prophecies, and at the same time supporters of Bawumia. And he always went back to back with them on the pulpit and also on social media, something that he hardly does. He engaged the people so much, so they were waiting for the day. Elbernard, for the first time, had to walk with his shoulders lowered and his gaze lowered as well. Sunday came. He went straight to the church. And when he entered the church, parked his car right in front of the church, it looked like the normal traffic to the church wasn't there. But gradually, the church filled up, and then he took the microphone. But before he spoke in church, he had posted, number one, an apology to the people of Ghana, to the people of the whole world who actually believed in him as an ordained prophet of the Most High God. This was what he put out. My brother, my sister, Prophet Elbernard put this out on Facebook. I wish to address the inaccurate prophetic declaration I made concerning the new Patriotic Party presidential primaries through a book, videos, party presidential primaries. Oh yes, okay. Well, he said, through a book, videos, and media interviews, I stated that Honorable Kennedy Ohene Ejapon would win the primaries and become the flag bearer of the new Patriotic Party. Can I take that paragraph again? I wish to address the inaccurate prophetic declarations I made concerning the new Patriotic Party presidential primaries. Now, through a book, videos, and media interviews, I stated that Honorable Kennedy Ohene Ejapon would win the primaries and become the flag bearer of the new Patriotic Party. That word did not come to pass. I missed it. I was wrong. I am deeply sorry, and I ask for your forgiveness. Because I spoke publicly with prophetic authority, many people trusted my word, and some were affected emotionally, spiritually, and politically. I acknowledge this with humility. I take full responsibility for this prophetic word. I sincerely apologize to everyone who trusted my word and was hurt, disappointed, or negatively impacted in any way. I am especially sorry to those who made decisions based on what I declared. I do not blame anyone or shift responsibility. I accept that this prophecy, as declared, failed. Dash it away. This was what he put out. And for me, I thought that that was solid. It didn't end there. He came back and told us something else, which for me was deeper. What did he say? Accountability statement. Following my recent public apology concerning the prophetic declarations I made about the new Patriotic Party presidential primaries, I have in humility and accountability chosen to take a shot and intentional pause from making public prophetic declarations, particularly those related to national and political matters. In the same spirit of responsibility, I have also decided to step back for a season from public teaching, preaching, and pulpit ministry. This is a deliberate and voluntary step to allow for reflection, prayer, counsel, and the strengthening of accountability in how prophetic revelations are received, interpreted, and communicated. I am not stepping away from my calling or from ministry altogether. I remain committed to personal prayer, steady, and quiet pastoral responsibility while intentionally realigning myself in growth, integrity, and discernment. Dash it away. This is what Prophet Bernard Elbernard said. And he followed that up with a physical appearance in church on Sunday. And when he appeared, everybody clapped. In fact, in empathy and support. Let's see him in church. Watch this.
We bless God for this morning. And there are several things I need to say even before the service come to an end. But let me say this before I come and say what I want to say. In my book, In the School of Prophecy, in the chapter 16 and the 125 page, the title is When Prophet Miss It. This is a book I wrote several years ago, but was released last year. And I outline what must happen and what must be done when a prophet misses a prophetic word. I first needed to understand that I am not the type of pastor who needs encouragement, because I am already an encouragement. And I need you, as a member of this family, to hold me up to integrity and hold me up to whatever I say the Lord said. I need you to hold me up to that realm of accountability. For now, I have submitted to the writings in this book, and I've released 2 statements. One is the statement of a minute. One is the public statement, an apology. Number 2 is the statement of accountability. I have released this statement for now, and I need you to look at the words I'm using. I've released these 2 statements for now. And because I hold myself accountable, everything I wanted to tell you is in that statement. I can't determine and influence how you respond and how you react. But I just wanted to understand that I am still here.
I am not going to ask you to stay here. Neither am I asking you to leave. But in the spirit of humility and accountability, I have told you what I would do for now. I will be back. And there are so many things to say. But at the right time, I will say what must be said.
There are so many things to say, but at the right time, I will say those. My brother, interesting things are happening in our nation. Prophets have become so powerful. In a country where everything is spiritual. Every sickness is a spiritual sickness. Every mishap is a spiritual thing. Nothing is ever physical. Everything is spiritual. You can now understand why the prophets have become very, very instrumental. Now, Elbernard has said something that has touched my heart. I made the prophecy. I don't decide how you receive it. It has failed. Are you going to continue being in this church or you will leave? I don't decide for you. You take your own decision. Again, I have decided to stay away from the church for a season. I have decided to stay away from the church for a whole season. He said several weeks. If all prophets will do this, I think that we would have a lot of sanity. A prophet can prophesy and give you 10 prophecies. Only one comes to pass, all 9 gone. And he still comes to boast about the one that came to pass. And the 9 of them, he doesn't care. If we can hold ourselves responsible and accountable, like Elbernard is doing, I think that we'll have some kind of sanity. I know what kind of pressure is on Elbernard because he's a forensic prophet. He's always prophesied right. This is one of the very few times he has prophesied and it never came to pass. And therefore, he is taking accountability of himself. And he said something that also touched me. He said his congregation must hold him to the realm of accountability. Don't just follow me and accept everything I say. Hold me to the realm of accountability. If I prophesy and tell you God says, and it doesn't come to pass, hold me accountable. Bring it out. Ask me what went wrong. Let's go deep into it. And if you are not satisfied, advise yourself. Not many prophets can say this. He says he won't be preaching in public. He won't teach in public. He's not going to be prophesying in public, especially prophetic, political prophecies. This is Elbernard. But my brother, my sister, this is what everybody is talking about in Ghana right now. He's a very good brethren of mine. I've called him a number of times. I've sent him messages of encouragement. He said he doesn't need any encouragement because he's an encouragement himself. We like that. It is good. But my brother, many other men of God are standing in solidarity with him after offering some piece of advice. For me, Elbernard remains a very, very instrumental prophet. He missed a prophecy. And I believe that the steps he's taking he will return more powerfully and more humbly. When he was prophesying, you saw the energy. It was almost becoming arrogant. My name is Bernard Elbernard Nelson Eshen. Theatrical is beautiful. But when you start fighting other prophets and comparing prophecies, I think that it is off. I remember when Prophet Bernard Elbernard Nelson Eshen told Prophet Nigel indirectly that they, Prophet Bernard, are those who prophesy for some other prophets to discuss. I saw that to be a little arrogant. Yes, I don't know what you think. We prophesy for other prophets to discuss. Wow. You see, at Asem Tuwa, kwasia crowd to me too. If this hadn't happened, a kwasia like me would never have been able to come forward and say, Bernard Elbernard, prophet, I think that this was off. And I'm speaking proverbially. But the humility with which he approached the pulpit, how he spoke to the people, and he accepted all blame, unlike that guy in Kumasi, who came with all energy, arrogantly boastful, so full of braggadocio, told the whole world that on the day of election, the men shall be separated from the boys. What arrogance. And when his prophecy failed, his church started to dwindle. For so many years he's prophesied. I'm told most of the time he got it right. But when arrogance starts coming in, if you are not careful, God would have to find a way of humbling you and humbling every other person. We all get humbled once in a while when we feel like, yes, it is us. God steps in to put the brakes on and tell us slow, hasten slowly. My brother, my sister, from that time, that Kumasi prophet has been quiet. Quiet. Political prophet. At a point, he turned his own ministry into politics. It's about the NPP, and all the other prophets who have turned their pulpit into political platforms and campaign platforms of political parties. Your days are coming. God will humble all of you one after the other. As for Bernard Elbernard, I am hurt that it had to happen to him because he's had a very solid track record. Very humble man of God. But I want to believe that he saw whatever he saw. But God has a way of humbling people. My brother, my sister, Bernard Elbernard, Nelson Eshen. Before I came into the studio, I placed a call to him. No response. To his wife, no response. But I understand. They have gone into seclusion like hermits to try and rethink and also come together in the spirit, pray, and take counsel. My brother, my sister, but Baumia won. Yes, he won. We all know he won. Kennedy Japan, who never believed in anything prophetic. And he asked me personally, that Bernard Elbernard guy, do you actually believe in him? I remember he asked me that in his house. And I said, don't joke with that prophet. In fact, when he speaks, it comes to pass. He's a man who has God's ears. Please pay attention to him. But I believe he went into the election very carefully, not believing too much in the spirits. Whatever it is, he lost, and I'm happy that he did. I am so happy that he lost. To those on this platform who were saying he would win, he would win. I'm glad he lost. A tribal bigot like this should never win any election again. I told him point blank. I love Elbernard Nelson Eshan. I pray that his prophecy comes to pass. But prophecy or no prophecy, I don't care. A tribal bigot is always a tribal bigot. Apologize or lose. And there he is. I'm sure now he knows his smoothness level. Such arrogant guy. What is that? After the elections, he also spoke. You know, he prepared himself with champagne, plenty food, because he believed that he was going to win. One of the greatest of all the prophets here had prophesied that he would win. Some of the statistics showed that he would win. So he went out there looking for victory. He had champagne, he had food, he had that, he had that. Listen to his message after he lost. Watch this.
I stand before you to pledge my support, also to accept the results declared by EC. The delegates have spoken, and I want to plead with my supporters that they should stay calm and respect the results and help all of us to work together to win 2029 or 2028 election. I want to advise my supporters. First, I want to thank you, but I advise that in election, you can win and you can lose. So if you lose, you have to accept it in good faith. So let's all of us throw our support to Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, the flag bearer.
Now, my brother, my sister, this is Kennedy, Japan. Weeks, months of campaigning culminated into a loss. He still stands a chance. Bawumia could just rope him into his team. After all, they are two tribalists. Whilst Bawumia was campaigning on tribal and religious grounds, he took a cue from him and ran with that. That's why we decided to disown him. The two can come together and go tribal. It's unto them. But that's what he said. He also told his supporters, there's a lot of food. There's so much drink. Go and make merry. All of you enjoy. Some members of his campaign team shed tears. My brother, my sister, I am glad that some people have been humbled with these elections. I am glad that it has happened. The biggest humiliation is waiting for Bawumia at the 2028 election. Biggest humiliation. He will be humiliated more than Kennedy. When people decide that they have no respect for our nation, they can go under a certain irresponsible president and allow him to misbehave. At the end of the day, they come back and tell us that, oh, I was only a mate, you know. Yes, you know, I'm a mate. What cheeky is of an excuse? It's one of the reasons I'm so angry with Bawumia, that I don't want to get around him. When people were dying, you refused to speak up because we're a mate. When they brought the dirty e-levy, you sat back and you never uttered a word because you were a mate. Today, If the whole nation had crashed and killed all of us, would you have come to try to be president of an empty nation? Let's use common sense. That's the reason I have disliked Bawumia. If you are a warrior and something is going wrong, you voice it out. And if they refuse to listen, you fight it. But the guy sat back with a big stomach, stomached every nonsense they gave to him, became pregnant with all these things, and sat comfortably behind as a mate. After so many months of misbehavior, now he comes back to tell us, oh, I am now ready to be the driver. I have never forgiven him for this. A win against Kennedy. Kennedy was a very weak opponent. Very weak opponent. Weak. All he had was money. Tribal bigot. You won against him and you are jubilating that you have won. You will be humiliated beyond humiliation. As for Elbernard Nelson Nation, I don't think it's all over for you. Be careful when the applause is so much. Even when you believe that no, you don't deserve this applause. It means it's sinister. At least I'm about 5 years older than Elbernard. So I can offer him physical advice, not spiritual. He's prophesied to me. I love him. Any day he calls me to prophesy to me, I will accept the prophecy. But the political space is a very slippery one. Somebody said something I want to share with you. He said, political prophecies can make you very popular, but the same prophecies will make you most unpopular. When I see prophets so much engaged in political prophecies, I become sad. I can't say Elbernard is like that. This is the first time he has actually come with this amount of vehemence. The moment he started defending his prophecy, I knew there was danger. I called him and I said, Prof, are you sure? You seem to be defending this thing so much. Unlike other days, you just let it pass. You've spoken. Once you have, God has spoken, twice you have heard. Let it go. Every day. But according to him, he was working for the prophecy to happen. In the other cases, what work went on to make the prophecy happen? So, I think that God is humbling all of us one after the other. And at the right time, we will all give glory to God. I was reading Deuteronomy the other day, and I came across a very beautiful verse that says, you know, all the false prophets must be put to death. And the Bible asks, how do you know a false prophet from a genuine prophet? When he prophesies and it doesn't come to pass, he's a false prophet. 2, when he prophesies in the name of the gods, put him to death. But that's the Old Testament. If this was in the days of the Old Testament, no prophet would have been alive in Ghana today. All of them. All of us would have been slaughtered. But when Christ came, he gave it a bit of allowance. Okay? But at this point, to Elbernard, kind regards. To Bawumia, congratulations. To Kennedy, you will learn. It's the black pot, aka Kukushodemo. And here, we speak truth to power.
Dedi kama mamena PENDREAM TV ase. Na so far so good. Say open online portal e wo Ghana. Ah nipa share, nipa follow, nipa comment here. To my best of knowledge, without any biases, PENDREAM TV.